the small girl who carried the mark of the hidden order on her skin. The dust storms on Callan Ridge never truly stopped. They only slowed enough to let people pretend the world was calm. Low metal homes stood in uneven lines, their walls stained red by years of drifting sand. Machines groaned day and night as they dug deep into the planet for minerals that fed distant cities. Life there was hard, quiet, and mostly forgotten. A small girl walked alone between the buildings, her boots too big and her jacket patched many times. Her name was Lyra. She was thin, with dark hair cut short because long hair collected dust. She carried a small bag filled with scrap parts she had been told to return to the depot. She kept her head down, as children learned early to do on Callan Ridge. She did not know why her left arm itched under the cloth wrap. It had been itching for days. When she scratched it, a strange warmth spread under her skin. She thought it was just another sickness from the mines. People often got sick here. The sky changed without warning. The usual red haze pulled apart, like fabric being torn open. Bright lines cut through the clouds. Lyra stopped walking. Around her, alarms began to scream. Loud and sharp. Doors slammed shut. Adults shouted names and orders. She looked up just as something huge broke through the sky. Ships unlike any she had ever seen descended without sound. Their shapes were wrong, smooth and angled in ways that made her head hurt. Blue lights swept over the ground like a moving ocean. Where it touched metal, the metal melted. Where it touched people, they fell. Lyra dropped her bag and ran. Explosions shook the ground. Heat burned her face. She heard screams behind her but did not turn. She ran into a narrow service tunnel that led under the mining platforms. She had played there before, hiding from the wind. Now she pressed herself against the cold wall and covered her mouth to stop herself from crying out. The blue light passed over the tunnel entrance. It paused, as if searching. Her arm burned. The itching turned into pain, sharp and deep. Lyra bit her sleeve and squeezed her eyes shut. Under the cloth, something pulsed. The pain spread through her chest and into her head. Strange images flashed behind her eyes. Stars, eyes, circles, voices without sound. The light moved on. Minutes passed, or maybe hours. The alarms died. The world became quiet in a way that felt wrong. Lyra crawled out when the air no longer smelled of burning. The settlement was broken. Buildings lay open like torn shells. Machines were silent. Fires burned without anyone to stop them. She called out, her voice small and shaking. No one answered. She walked through the ruins, stepping over debris. She did not understand why she was still alive. Many others were not. She found a broken wall and sat down, hugging her knees. That was when she heard a new sound. A deep hum came from above. Not like the alien ships. This sound felt steady, familiar in a way she could not explain. A human patrol ship broke through the clouds, its engines glowing white. Lyra stood slowly. The ship hovered, scanning the ground. Lights swept across the ruins. When one of the lights passed over Lyra, it stopped. Inside the ship, officers stared at their screens. "That reading makes no sense," said one of them, a woman with short hair and tired eyes. "It's not a weapon," another replied. "It's biological and old, very old." The ship lowered a ramp near Lyra. Armed figures stepped out carefully. One of them, a tall man named Hale, approached her slowly, his weapon lowered. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe now." Lyra wanted to believe him. Her legs shook. As she took a step forward, the pain in her arm flared again, and this time the cloth burned away like dry paper. Hale froze. On Lyra's arm was a mark. It was not ink or scar tissue. It looked like light trapped under skin, forming thin lines that curved and crossed in a perfect pattern. The symbol shifted slowly, like it was breathing. Every scanner on the patrol ship screamed at once. The air around Lyra vibrated. Dust lifted from the ground. The mark shone brighter, reacting to the ship, to the people, to the world itself. Hale whispered, "What are you?" Lyra looked at her arm in fear. "I don't know," she said. The symbol flared once more, and far beyond the broken colony, something ancient began to wake up. The patrol ship moved swiftly away from Callan Ridge. Outside the windows, the ruined colony shrank into the red dust. Lyra sat quietly on a bench, her eyes fixed on her arm, where the mark still glowed faintly. The ship's hum felt alive around her, and she could not shake the feeling that it was listening. Hale sat beside her, watching her carefully. He had grown used to danger, but this was something he could not understand. He did not know if she was a weapon, a survivor, or something older than anything humanity had recorded. The ship's officers had already locked all the records about her into the restricted database. Only a few of them knew what she truly was. The mark she carried belonged to a hidden order of humans from the earliest colonies, an order thought lost for centuries. Mira, a woman with sharp eyes and quick hands, approached Lyra cautiously. She carried a small tablet filled with records from old human archives. When she saw the mark, she froze. Lyra flinched. Mira's voice was low and steady as she spoke. "This symbol, it's been erased from every record we have. You are carrying something older than the first colonists, something that should not exist anymore." Lyra shook her head. "I don't understand. I just have it. It's always been there. We will figure it out. You're safe for now."
"But we have to move quickly. Those ships that attacked your colony are still out there."
From the ship's command deck, alarms rang out. A radar screen showed fast-moving dots heading toward them. The aliens had not left. They had simply waited, tracking the human ship to see where it would go. The officers debated. The humans could not fight the fleet head-on. Their ship was small, armed only for defense and patrol. Yet no one could ignore the energy signature that Lyra carried. It was growing, pulsing, as the ship moved through space. Every second it passed, the ship seemed lighter, faster, and somehow more alive. Mira whispered to Hale, "The mark reacts to alien sensors. It might be guiding them here, or warning them. We don't know which." Lyra looked down at her arm again. She felt heat creeping under her skin, not like burning, but like pressure. Her hand trembled. "It hurts," she said, "and I can see things. I see. Places. Stars I've never been to. Ships moving. And voices. I can't hear them. But I know they're there." Hale frowned. "Don't try to fight it. Just focus on breathing." Mira crouched beside her. "That mark is connected to something ancient. Humans were trained long ago to carry it." "You have the last piece. The rest of the order has been gone for centuries. If they wanted you, you would already be hunted. But now, you are." The ship shook as another alert sounded. Alien scanners had detected the human vessel. A warning flashed on the main screen, approaching objects moving at impossible speeds. Lyra's mark brightened suddenly, reacting to the sensors. The lines of light shifted and pulsed, connecting in patterns across her arm, and a wave of energy ran through the ship. The officer's eyes widened. Instruments went haywire, lights flickered, and the ship's engines responded in ways no pilot could explain. Rook, the pilot, fought to stabilize the vessel. "I don't understand. The engines are moving on their own." "We're gaining speed without input." Lyra's arm glowed brighter. Her vision blurred. She saw the alien fleet, the shapes of their ships and the paths they had taken. She could see her own ship moving ahead, faster than anyone could have controlled. She did not know how she did it. All she could do was focus on the glow and the energy that spread from her arm. Hale realized something. The mark is more than a symbol. It's a key. Lyra, you are controlling this ship without knowing it. You can guide us, maybe even hide us from them. Lyra's voice trembled. "I don't know if I can." It's too much." Mira nodded. "You won't have a choice. They're coming for you, and if they catch us, everything dies." The aliens closed in. Their ships moved like living things, circling the human vessel, scanning it with beams of light. The mark responded, sending a wave of energy outward. For a moment the alien scanners flickered, unable to penetrate the pattern that had awakened. The humans could feel it, a shield, not solid, but alive, bending the energy around them. Hale gripped Lyra's shoulder.
"You're doing it. Keep going. Don't think about it. Let it flow."
Lyra felt the pressure in her arm grow into a pulse that reached through the ship. She could see the aliens' movements in her mind, predict them, avoid them. Her heart pounded, but a strange calm came over her. She was no longer just a girl. She was part of something bigger, something she did not yet understand. Mira whispered, almost to herself, "The Hidden Order." They were meant to awaken when humanity was most at risk. Lyra is the last of them. And now the galaxy will learn they were never gone. Hours passed, though it felt like seconds. The alien fleet could not catch them. Every time they attempted to get closer, the mark shifted, ending space and energy in ways no one had ever witnessed. The human ship seemed alive, guided by the girl who did not know she had power older than the stars. Finally, the alien fleet gave up for the moment, pulling back into the dark space from which it had come. The ship floated in silence, the hum of its systems calming. Lyra slumped onto the bench, exhausted and trembling. Hale knelt beside her. "You did it. We're safe. For now." Lyra looked at her arm. The mark was still faintly glowing, like embers in a dying fire. She did not understand it, but she knew it had saved them. "I didn't do anything," she whispered. Mira shook her head. "You did everything. The mark chose you, and you carried it. That is why you are alive. That is why we are alive." Hale helped her stand. The officers were still shaken, but no one dared question the reality of what they had just witnessed. The patrol ship began moving toward the nearest human safe zone, a distant station in orbit around a forgotten planet. It would be the first place Lyra could rest, and perhaps begin to understand what she carried. On the way, Mira continued to explain in quiet tones. "The Hidden Order trained humans to carry marks like yours. They could manipulate energy, shield ships, even read sensors of enemies. But the Order was destroyed when the colonies first met hostile alien coalitions. You are the last living connection to that power. And now, every hostile force in the galaxy will seek you." Lyra's chest tightened. She could feel the weight of what Mira said. She had survived the colony attack, escaped with the patrol ship, and wielded power she did not understand. But if the galaxy hunted her, did she survive again? Hale saw the fear in her eyes. "We'll protect you, I promise. But you need to learn control. You cannot wait until the next attack to understand your power." The girl nodded slowly. Her arm tingled again, not with pain this time, but with quiet energy. It was alive, waiting, and aware. She could sense the ship beneath her feet, the people around her, even the distant stars. The universe was wider than she had ever imagined, and somehow she was connected to it. Outside the window, the stars stretched into lines as the patrol ship jumped through a short warp to avoid pursuit. The sight was dizzying, but Lyra did not look away. She felt herself pulling on the energy within her, letting it guide the vessel, letting it respond to threats she could not even name. Lyra glanced at Hale, concern on her face. "She is stronger than any recruit we ever trained, but she is only a child. That is the danger. The Mark's power is growing too fast." Hale nodded silently. He did not need words. He had seen the potential, and he had seen the danger. If the Mark's power became too much too soon, it could destroy them all, including Lyra. Hours later, the patrol ship approached the orbiting station. It was a quiet place, half abandoned, used mostly for refueling and data storage, yet it was humanity's first line of defense in this sector. Lyra watched the lights of the station reflect off her arm, the mark glowing faintly. She realized something important. She was not just a survivor anymore. She was something that could not be ignored. Hale helped her down the ramp. The station's corridors were empty, quiet, but alive with the hum of ancient machinery. Lyra's mark pulsed faintly as if sensing the station's energy. She felt at home here, though she knew she could never belong anywhere fully. Her journey had just begun. Mira led her to a small room.
"Rest. We have much to teach you, and you will need it."
"The galaxy will not wait for you to understand your power." Lyra sat on the bed, staring at her arm. The mark was calm now, almost gentle, but she knew it would not remain so for long. She had survived Kalen Ridge. She had controlled a ship with the power of the Hidden Order. But something told her the real challenges were still ahead. Above her, the station's lights flickered softly. Outside, distant stars watched. Somewhere beyond, enemies stirred, sensing the last living member of the Hidden Order. Lyra closed her eyes and tried to sleep, though her mind could not rest. She felt the universe pulling at her, guiding her, and waiting for her to take the first true step into what she was meant to be. The mark on her arm pulsed one last time that night, faint and steady, as if promising that the Hidden Order's story was far from over. And in the darkness of space, Lyra began to understand that she would never be just a small girl again. The patrol ship entered orbit around the small human station, a quiet place that had seen better days. Most of its docking bays were empty, and the corridors echoed with the hum of machinery and the occasional squeak of maintenance bots. Lyra stayed close to Hale and Mira, her eyes drawn to the faint glow of the mark on her arm. It pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat, as if sensing the station itself. As they walked through the corridors, Mira whispered to Lyra, "We need to be careful here. The station seems empty, but someone could be watching. Those who know about the Hidden Order will seek you." Lyra nodded silently. She felt the weight of the truth pressing on her. She had survived Kalen Ridge, guided a ship through enemy fire, and now she was at a place that was supposed to be safe. And yet, the fear remained. She was only a small girl, and the power she carried was older than anyone could imagine. they reached a small command center. Holographic screens flickered with static, and data streams flowed slowly across the room. Mira tapped a screen and brought up old records. The Hidden Order trained humans to carry marks like yours? They were spies, guardians, and sometimes warriors. But most importantly, they were invisible. Their purpose was to protect humanity from threats it could not yet face. Lyra looked at her arm. Then why did they let me be born? Why am I here now? Mira shook her head. No one knows why the Order chooses. The mark appears only on those it deems capable. You were chosen, Lyra, and now you must learn to control it before it attracts too much attention. Hale stepped forward. You're stronger than anyone we've ever seen. But power without understanding is dangerous. You must learn control. Just then, the station's alarm systems activated. The quiet hum of the station shifted into a tense vibration. On the radar, small vessels were approaching at high speed. Mira's eyes widened.
They found us. Lyra's mark pulsed faster. The energy inside her stirred, reacting to the incoming threat.
She felt the shapes of the ships in her mind, their paths and speeds, their intentions. She did not understand how she knew, but she did. She raised her hand, and a thin wave of light spread from the mark, running along the floor, walls, and ceiling. The station's systems hummed in response, activating defenses that had been dormant for decades. Hale grabbed her shoulder. Focus, Lyra. Use it. The small ships came closer, scanning the station with blue beams. Lyra felt the mark respond, bending the energy around her. The beams flickered and failed to penetrate. The station shivered as if alive, protecting them from the attackers. Lyra's pulse raced, but she kept her focus. She guided the energy, bending the station's systems to shield them, and for a moment, the attackers hesitated. Inside the station, a figure watched from the shadows. A woman named Nira, former intelligence broker and historian, had been tracking the mark for years. She had spent decades piecing together the fragments of the Hidden Order. When she saw Lyra, she froze. Her eyes widened. This was the last living member, the final link to a power that had shaped human history in secret. And now the girl was here, alive and unprotected. Mira spoke quickly to Lyra. They are probing the station. They will try to break in. You must be ready. The mark is your defense, but it is also a beacon. They know you are here. The small ships began to dock forcibly, hulls rattled, and doors shook. Lyra focused on her mark. Light spread along the walls, forming barriers of energy that repelled the intruders. The station's dormant defense turrets activated, firing warning shots. Sparks flew as some of the attackers tried to force their way inside. Lyra's heart pounded. She could feel the fear, but also the strength growing inside her. Hale shouted over the alarm, "We need to hold them until reinforcements arrive." "Lyra, concentrate!" The energy from her mark expanded. Following the lines of the station, she could see the attackers' movements as patterns in her mind. She could anticipate where they would strike, where they would try to breach, and she guided the station's defenses accordingly. The light pulsed, strong and steady, forming a protective cocoon around them. One of the attackers broke through a door, a humanoid figure with a sleek, armored suit. Lyra raised her hand, and the mark flared. The figure froze mid-step, held by invisible force. Energy rippled across the floor, walls and ceiling connecting to the figure. Sparks of light ran along its armor, forcing it back. The attackers hesitated, realizing that their sensors could not penetrate the energy field. Mira stepped forward from the shadows. "She is the one we've been waiting for," she whispered. The hidden order is not gone. It lives in her. Lyra turned toward Nira, her chest heaving. Who are you? Nira smiled faintly. Someone who can teach you what the mark truly is and what it means. But we have no time. They will keep coming. Hale took Lyra's hand. We need to move to the inner core of the station. It has more defenses, and it can amplify the mark. The group hurried through the corridors, the energy from Lyra's mark protecting them as attackers tried to follow. Doors slammed, lights flickered, and the hum of energy filled the air. Every step Lyra took, she felt the mark pulsing, guiding them, shielding them. The station became an extension of herself, responding to her instincts. They reached the core room, a circular chamber filled with ancient machinery. Energy conduits ran along the walls, glowing faintly. Lyra felt the mark respond, pulling on the station's power. She extended her hand, and the lines of energy expanded, connecting with the conduits. The station hummed louder, resonating with her mark. She could feel every pulse, every wire, every circuit bending to her will. Mira spoke quickly. The mark can amplify the station's defenses. You can hold them off, but only for a short time. After that, we must leave. Lyra nodded, focusing. The attackers began to force their way into the core. Blue energy beams struck the barriers, but the mark flared in response, pushing the intruders back. Sparks flew as the station's systems aligned with her power. She felt exhaustion creeping in, but she forced herself to keep going. The station, the mark, and herself were now one. Hale shouted, "Almost there!" Just a little longer. Outside, the attackers realized that the girl was controlling the station. They tried different tactics, but the mark adapted instantly, bending their energy, redirecting their sensors, and neutralizing threats. Lyra could feel their frustration, as if it were her own. She was not just defending herself. She was defending the station, the people inside, and the last secret of the hidden order. Finally, the attackers withdrew. The remaining ships retreated into the darkness of space. The station shuddered as the energy slowly receded. Lyra slumped against the wall, her arm glowing faintly, the lines calming. She was exhausted, trembling, and drained, but alive. Hale knelt beside her. You did it again. You controlled the station, and you saved everyone inside. Lyra looked at her arm, the glow fading. I don't understand it. I just feel it. It tells me what to do. Nira stepped forward. That is the hidden order. The mark chooses who it bonds with. It connects to your instincts, your mind, and your will. It protects those it deems important. And right now, that is you. Mira put a hand on her shoulder. You are not alone anymore. You have us, and we will help you learn control. But you must understand this. Any power, no matter how strong, draws attention. They will come back. Stronger, smarter, and they will not stop. Lyra nodded slowly. She felt the weight of her responsibility pressing down. Dan, she was not just a small girl from a mining colony anymore. She was the last living member of the Hidden Order, a power older than humanity itself, and the galaxy was watching. The station's lights flickered softly. Outside, the stars glimmered like distant eyes. Lyra sat quietly, feeling the mark pulse gently. She knew the story of the Hidden Order was far from over. The attacks had been a warning. The real challenges were coming, and she would have to face them, no matter how afraid she was. For the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. She was not powerless. The mark was with her, and she was learning to control it. The universe was wide, full of danger and secrets, but now she had allies, knowledge, and a purpose. And in the quiet hum of the station, Lyra understood one thing clearly. She would survive, and the Hidden Order would live again. Through her. The small human station hummed quietly as Lyra walked through its corridors. The glow from her mark had faded to a soft pulse, like a heartbeat in tune with the station itself. She followed Mira and Hale down narrow hallways, past machinery that had not been touched for decades. Every shadow seemed alive, every corner held a secret. Lyra felt a new awareness growing inside her, a connection to the station, to the ship, and to the strange energy flowing through her. Mira stopped before a reinforced door and turned to her. "This is where we will begin your training. You need to learn to control the mark fully. Its power is enormous, but without understanding, it could destroy you or everyone around you." Lyra nodded, her small hands clenched. She felt nervous, but also determined. She had survived the attack on Callan Ridge, piloted a ship using her mark, and defended the station from enemy forces. Now, she had to learn to use the power deliberately. Inside the room, energy conduits lined the walls, glowing faintly. Lyra stepped forward, feeling the pulse of the mark respond to the station's systems. She could sense the flow of energy through the conduits, the hum of power in the floors and ceilings. Mira gestured to a console. "Focus on the mark. Feel the energy around you, the life inside it. It reacts to your mind, your will. You can guide it, bend it, and shape it. But you must start small." Lyra hesitated. She raised her hand slightly. The lines on her arm pulsed. Tiny sparks of light ran across the floor, following her movements. She tried to make the light move toward the far corner of the room. It obeyed. A faint glow spread across the conduits, and she felt a thrill. She was controlling it. Hale nodded. "Ah, good. Now try to hold it for longer." Control isn't just moving the energy. It's keeping it steady, predicting its reactions, and understanding its limits. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes to Lyra. She moved energy in different shapes, guided it through the station's systems, and tested the limits of her focus. Sometimes the mark pulsed too strongly, burning her arm, and she had to pull back. Other times it responded beautifully, bending the station's systems with precision she could not explain. Mira spoke softly. "The mark is more than power. It is alive. It reacts not only to you, but to danger, to intent, to life around you. You are its vessel. It chose you. Remember that?" Lyra felt the weight of the responsibility pressing down. She was only a small girl, but the energy inside her was older than any human she had ever known. It had survived centuries, and now it lived in her. She had to master it, or the consequences could be catastrophic. Suddenly, the station's alarm sounded, a sharp, piercing sound that made the air vibrate. Lyra's mark pulsed in response, brightening instinctively. Mira's face grew serious. "They've found you again. The same fleet that attacked Callan Ridge. They are closing in." "We have very little time." Hale grabbed her hand. "Focus, Lyra. You know the energy. You can protect the station and us, but you must act quickly." Leah closed her eyes. She felt the shapes of the enemy ships in her mind, their movements, their speed, their intent. She did not know how she knew, but she did. The mark pulsed. An energy spread along the station's walls, floors, and ceilings. Lights flickered as the ancient machinery hummed to life. The first attack came in the form of beams of energy striking the station's shields. Sparks flew, and parts of the corridors shook. Lyra raised her hand and the mark flared, bending the beams, redirecting them safely into the station's hull. The attackers recoiled, confused by the shifting energy, unable to penetrate the defenses. Mira whispered urgently, "The mark can amplify the station's defenses, but only for so long. You must guide it carefully." Lyra focused, letting the energy flow through her. She felt every pulse of the station, every wire, every conduit responding. The attackers tried again, attempting to breach the station's docking bays. The mark reacted, creating barriers of light that blocked their path. Sparks and energy arcs lit the corridors, and Lyra felt a strange exhilaration. She was not just defending herself, she was commanding power older than she could comprehend. Hale shouted, "Hold them! Keep control!" The attackers adjusted, trying new tactics, but the mark adapted instantly. Lyra could anticipate their movements, predict their strikes, and bend the energy accordingly. Her pulse raced and sweat ran down her face, but she kept her focus. The station seemed alive, moving with her, responding to her instincts. After a tense hour, the enemy ships began to withdraw, unable to penetrate the defenses. The station shuddered as the energy slowly receded. Lyra sank against the wall, trembling. Her arm glowed faintly, the lines calming. She was exhausted, but she had done it. She had defended the station, guided its systems, and survived. Hale knelt beside her. "You did it again. You're stronger than anyone we've ever seen. But this is just the beginning. You must learn to control the mark fully. If you can master it, you can protect yourself and others." Lyra looked at her arm. The glow was faint now, but she could feel the energy still flowing, waiting, and aware. "I don't understand it all, but I feel it. I can sense danger, and I can guide the energy." Mira put a hand on her shoulder. "That is the first step. The Hidden Order trained humans to feel and guide energy like this. You are learning faster than anyone we expected, but the challenges will grow. You must be ready." Hale added, "We will help you, but you have to trust yourself. The galaxy is watching, and there will be more attacks. Stronger ones, smarter ones. You cannot hide forever." Lyra nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her role. She was not just a survivor anymore. She was the last of the Hidden Order, carrying a power that could change the fate of humanity. She would have to face dangers she could not yet imagine, but she knew one thing. She would not run. She would fight. She would learn. The station hummed softly around her, alive and responding to the mark. Outside, distant stars glittered like silent witnesses. Somewhere, enemies were plotting, sensing the presence of the girl who carried the last mark. And inside, Lyra felt the pulse of the Hidden Order within her, a rhythm older than humanity, guiding her toward what she was meant to become. For the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. She was not powerless. She was learning, growing, and connected to something greater than herself. The universe was vast, full of danger, but now she had allies, knowledge, and purpose. And in the quiet hum of the station, Lyra understood that the journey of the Hidden Order was far from over. She was ready to take the next step, whatever it might bring. The station was quiet, almost too quiet. As Lyra walked through the corridors, her mark pulsed softly on her arm, like a calm heartbeat after the storm of her training. Mira and Hale followed closely, keeping watch for any signs of approaching threats. The small girl felt stronger, more confident, but the weight of the mark pressed on her, reminding her that danger was always near. Inside the core chamber, Lyra focused on the energy flowing through the station. She could feel the systems responding, the conduits glowing faintly as they aligned with the mark. Mira watched carefully, noting how the lines of light shifted and pulsed in response to Lyra's will. Hale stood by, ready to defend her if needed. Suddenly, the station's sensors detected movement. Blips appeared on the radar, faster than anything they had seen before. Lyra's mark reacted instantly, pulsing with intensity. She could sense the shapes of the incoming ships, their paths, and even the energy they emitted. Her heart raced, but she focused, letting the mark guide her. The first wave of enemy ships struck. Energy beams hit the station's shields, and the walls shook. Lyra raised her hand, and the mark flared, bending the beams away. Sparks flew as the energy arcs connected with the station's systems. The attackers hesitated, confused by the shifting power. Lyra could feel their intent, their strategy, and she guided the station's defenses accordingly. Hale shouted over the alarms. "Hold them off, Lyra! Control the energy!" Lyra closed her eyes, focusing on the pulse of the mark. She extended her hands, and light spread through the corridors connecting to the station's systems. The energy flowed like water, shielding the station, redirecting attacks, and forming barriers where needed. She felt the strength of the hidden order within her, guiding her actions, and she used it to protect everyone inside. Mira whispered urgently, "The mark can do more than defend. It can amplify the station's power, even reach out to other human ships nearby. But it will drain you if you push it too far. You must be careful." Lyra nodded, understanding the risk. She pushed the energy further, sending pulses through the station's systems. Lights flickered and machinery hummed as the defenses strengthened. The enemy ships struggled to penetrate, and one by one they began to withdraw, unable to break through the powerful energy field. Outside the station, the remaining ships regrouped, scanning for weakness. Lyra's mark flared again, responding to their movements. She could sense their frustration, their fear, and she realized how powerful she had become. She was no longer just a small girl. She was the last of the Hidden Order, wielding a force that could protect humanity. Hale placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did it again."
You protected the station and everyone on it, but this is only the beginning.
"They will come back, stronger and smarter." Lyra looked at her arm, the lines of light calming. "I feel it inside me. The energy, the mark, it's alive. It guides me. I don't know how, but I can sense it." Mira nodded. "That is the essence of the Hidden Order. The mark chooses its carrier and connects to their mind, their instincts, their will. You are learning faster than we expected, but the true test is yet to come." Hale added, "We need to prepare. Reinforcements are on the way, but you must learn to control the mark fully. Its power is immense, and enemies will not wait for you to be ready." Lyra took a deep breath, feeling the energy pulse in her veins. She knew she was not alone. She had allies, knowledge, and the power of the Hidden Order within her. The universe was vast and dangerous, but she was ready to face it. She would survive, and she would protect humanity, no matter the cost. The station hummed softly around her, alive with energy. Outside, distant stars twinkled like silent witnesses. Somewhere, the enemies of the Hidden Order were plotting, unaware that their target was stronger than ever. Lyra felt a surge of determination. She would not run. She would fight. She would master the mark, and through it, she would ensure the Hidden Order lived on. The galaxy was vast and dark. As the patrol ship moved away from the station, Lyra sat in the observation deck, staring at her glowing arm. The mark pulsed softly, no longer urgent or wild, but steady, like the heartbeat of something greater. She had survived attacks, guided a ship, and defended the station. Yet, she knew this was only the beginning. The Hidden Order's power lived within her, and the galaxy would soon test it in ways she could not imagine. Hale stood behind her, watching the stars slide past the viewport. "You've grown stronger," he said. "You've learned to control the mark, but this is only the start. Those who hunt you will not give up." Lyra nodded slowly, her eyes fixed on the distant lights of space.
I can feel them, she whispered. They are out there, waiting.
"But I am ready," Mira approached, holding a small data pad. "We have traced several enemy fleets across known space. They are regrouping, planning their next attack. But with your mark, we have a chance to strike first, to defend humanity before they can reach us." Lyra's heart pounded. She could feel the energy of the mark waiting for her command. It was not just a defense. It could be a weapon, a shield, and a guide all at once. She realized that the universe would never underestimate humanity again, as long as she lived and wielded the power of the Hidden Order. The patrol ship jumped into hyperspace, racing toward the sector where the enemy fleets had been spotted. Lyra concentrated, feeling the mark extend its senses beyond the ship. She could sense the flow of energy in nearby vessels, detect hidden threats, and guide the ship with precision no pilot could match. The mark pulsed with life, and she felt a deep connection to every system, every crew member, every spark of energy around her. Hale leaned closer. "You're controlling more than just the ship. The mark is amplifying our capabilities. You can see paths and dangers before they happen. Use it carefully." Lyra took a deep breath, letting the energy flow through her. The lines of light on her arm brightened, stretching outward, connecting with the ship's systems. She could see the enemy fleets in her mind, their positions, speed, and intentions. She guided the patrol ship to intercept them at the perfect moment, avoiding traps and ambushes. The first engagement began. Enemy vessels opened fire, blue energy beams striking the ship. Lyra's mark flared, bending the beams, redirecting them harmlessly into space. Sparks of light danced along the hull as the ship moved faster than any human craft should. Lyra could see openings in the enemy formations, guiding the patrol ship to exploit weaknesses. Hale shouted over the alarms, "Lyra, aim for the gaps! Use the mark!" The energy from her mark flowed like water, forming shields, barriers, and pulses that disabled enemy sensors. The attackers struggled, unable to anticipate the ship's movements. Lyra felt exhilaration and fear together, but she did not hesitate. She was the last of the Hidden Order, and the power inside her was alive, guiding her hands, mind, and instincts. Mira's voice came over the comms. "You are doing it, Lyra. Keep control. The fleet is confused, and we have the advantage." The battle raged, but Lyra's focus never wavered. She extended the mark's energy outward, connecting with other human ships nearby, forming a network of power. Their systems synchronized with hers, and together they could move, shield, and strike as one. The enemy fleet faltered, unable to adapt to the combined force guided by a single mark. One by one, the enemy vessels retreated, their formations breaking. Lyra felt the energy of the mark settle, calm and steady. The galaxy was quiet again, but she knew it would not remain so. The Hidden Order had been reborn in her, and every hostile force would seek to challenge that power. Hale rested a hand on her shoulder.
"You did it. The fleets have been turned back.
Humanity has a chance now, thanks to you." Lyra looked at her arm, the lines of light calming. "I can feel it. The mark. It's part of me. I understand it more now, but I know they will come again." Mira nodded. "They will, but you are no longer alone. You have allies, knowledge, and control. The Hidden Order lives through you, and a galaxy will remember it. Lyra stood, looking out at the stars. She felt the pulse of the mark in rhythm with the universe, alive and aware. The patrol ship moved steadily toward the next sector, ready for whatever awaited them. She was no longer just a small girl from a mining colony. She was the last living member of the Hidden Order, and the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. For the first time, Lyra felt true confidence. She had faced destruction, guided ships with power beyond comprehension, defended stations, and survived. The universe was vast, full of enemies and secrets, but she was ready. The Hidden Order's story was not over. Through her, it would continue. Humanity would rise stronger, guided by the mark and the girl who carried it. Lyra's journey was just beginning, and the stars themselves seemed to watch, waiting to see what she would do next. The patrol ship sailed through the void, lights of distant stars reflected on the viewport. The mark pulsed steadily, calm and powerful. Lyra's eyes were fixed on the horizon of space. She knew the challenges ahead would be immense, but she felt ready. The Hidden Order lived, and humanity had a protector, a guide, and a force no enemy could ignore. Lyra's small hands rested on the console, steady now as the galaxy stretched endlessly before her, waiting for what she would become.